The MacroView Xaml module is an experimental module that we're working on in late 2006 that allows you to load XAML files and display the graphical XAML results connected to MacroView data. I'll just running the MacroView XAML runner. It's a pretty basic application. All it allows you to do is load the XAML file and then observe the updates as they occur. It comes with a number of sample graphics which I'm just about to load. For example, this expanding circle example. When you load the XAML file, if the environment doesn't have a connection to a server, it asks you for one. So let's hook up to the FANG server, and it loaded the XAML and now is getting data from the FANG server. In this case, it's the time on the server, and the circle increases its size as the time changes on the server. Now, the problem with this for experimental XAML work is that there is no MacroView graphic editor for the XAML files. Long term, that's our direction, but at this early stage, either the XAML has to be hand coded or a third-party tool used to develop the XAML. One of the third-party tools available is Microsoft's Expression Interactive Designer. This is a development environment that's in development at this stage. It hasn't really reached even the beta level. The latest release is a community tech preview for September. Now, the Interactive Designer is strongly oriented towards compiled code rather than dynamically loaded code. So the XAML files are defined in a Visual Studio style project and compiled along with the associated C#. The MacroView XAML module is more oriented towards runtime loaded XAML with embedded scripts. For the current release, that is the scripts are metascripts as per standard MacroView. Now, regardless of all this, we can still use the Interactive Designer to create XAML files that can be used within the MacroView XAML module. To do this, I'll give you a run-through of the various steps and a few tricks that you need to perform to allow Interactive Designer XAML to be opened by the MacroView XAML module. Let's first create a project, and we'll call this demo project. Now, to get access to the MacroView functionality, you need to add a reference to the meta XAML assembly. That can be found in the program files MacroView experimental XAML module directory, and just select the metalxaml.exe. It's not a DLL, but because of the way .NET works, you can still reference exes as an assembly containing .NET code. So once that's done, the designer project has access to the MacroView specific code, and we can then put in the namespace header for MacroView references. This is documented in the online help that comes with the MacroView XAML module. And what I'll do is hard code this XAML file with a particular meta server just for demo purposes, and that's done by embedding a server set object in the root level data context of this XAML file. So my server is called Fang. So now, once I save that, it actually parsed the XAML straight away, detected there was a server set required, and bring up a login window to authenticate the connection to the server. Now, ideally, this shouldn't occur in a designer environment; it should only occur at runtime, but it does because of the beta level aspect of the XAML module functionality. So I'll provide the authentication information, and the interactive designer is now logged into the server. Now what I'll also do is create a very basic graphic. Let's put a text box in there. Now just for fun, we'll make it rotate. Okay, we'll go to the properties, make it a bit larger. Why can't I see it? Let's just, that's better. The GUI is not quite ideal because it should have shown me the entire scroll bar. So that, remember, this is just a September CTP. It will be improving. So let's increase the size. Let's do something reasonable. And associate that with some data. So I'll give it a data context. And that data context will be a MacroView script. The little M prefix, just a short version identifying the MacroView specific namespace within the XML. And we can just put a metascript within that block. So now there isn't a metascript embedded in the text box data context, but there's nothing being bound to it. So if we select it again, go to the text, and within Interactive Design, if you go to the left of a property and click on that little icon, you can choose data binding. We use explicit data context-based data binding for all the MacroView work, and it found that there was a script embedded in the data context, and they're the properties of the script, and we're interested in the text property, which is the results of the script execution. So now, if we flip to the XML, and I'll just browse past it. Oh, there we are. We can see that the data binding has resulted in a modification of the text property XAML. And flip to the design mode, you can see that the metascript actually has been executed. I wonder if it's, there we go. If we expand it a bit, you can get the time. We can get the time portion. So now the interactive designer itself is connected to the server, but we can also compile it and run it to produce an actual application. So now the application is running, and it can also connect to the server. As mentioned before, ideally the designer shouldn't perform that sort of action. Now we have it. A small application that gets the time for a MacroView server and displays it in rotated text. Now, if we then run the MacroView XAML module, navigate to the demo project, and open the scene1 XAML file directly, we get an error. And the reason that error occurs is because the XAML refers to code behind classes in C# that aren't embedded in the XAML itself. It actually requires access to a DLL. What we can do as a workaround is remove the dependence of that XAML file on the code behind. So if we go to the project and notice below the XAML files a XAML.cs file, I'm just editing it just to show you the contents. This provides extensibility within the Expression Interactive Designer for C# code that manipulates the XAML tree. And we don't need that for our MacroView's loose XAML functionality, so we'll delete it. And in addition, if we go to the XAML code itself, oops, it's way over here. There's a class reference that defines which code behind class to use. I need to take that out as well. So now if we save that, in fact save all, no, it's already done it, and we'll run another XAML runner version and open the same scene1 XAML file. It runs without, well, loads the XAML without error and then runs the app. Because of the particular scaling layout parameter I use, which is grid, there's a bit of a weirdness happening because of the rotated text, but not to worry. Now, if I go back to the Interactive Designer, and let's say we rotate it back a bit, hang on, and maybe change its color. There we go. Actually, what color view? That must be appearance. There we go. Let's change its color, save it, and flip back to the MacroView XAML module and click refresh. Bam, we've got the changes. So this illustrates how we can use Expression Interactive Designer to edit the XAML being displayed in the MacroView XAML module, given the current technology available. Now the XAML space is going to change quite rapidly over the next year, so we'll be experimenting and looking for third-party opportunities as they come up.